Now we are going to have our first session of this FDP, and the speaker of this session is Dr. Hishmi Jamil Hussain, Head Environment and Forest Management, Tata Steel. And the topic of this talk is to be ecosystem restoration and biodiversity conservation with reference to Agenda 2030. So before moving further, I would like to give a brief introduction about Dr. Hishmi. Dr. Hishmi Jamil is among the notable alumni of International Institute of Social Science. He is having more than 20 years of national international experience in the field of environment management, biodiversity conservation, sustainable development, and water management. He did postgraduate diploma in universalization of socioeconomic securities from International Institute of Social Science, the Hague, the Netherlands, executive masters in e-governance from EPFL, Switzerland, and PhD in lithology and soil characterization in relation to forest vegetation of Himalaya from Forest Research Institute, University Dehradun. For different training, studies, and research, Dr. Hishmi has visited many countries like USA, UK, Canada, Switzerland, Australia, etc. Dr. Hishmi's name is, his name is Commission Member of International Union for Conservation of Nature on Environmental, Economic, and Social Policy, and Commission of Education and Communication 2015, Young Scientist awarded. 2016 Environment Scientist awarded Best Scientist Award in 2020. He is also associated member of Government Think Tank of Environment and Development. Dr. Hishmi was lead author of Asia Pacific Regional Assessment Biodiversity Assessment of Intergovernmental Science Policy Platform on Biodiversity and Ecosystem Services. He is management committee member of Jamshedpur Management Association. Dr. Hishmi is elected fellow of the Lenin Society of London and member of Club of Rome. He is on board of several national and international bodies. Dr. Hishmi is visiting faculty and distinguished speaker in India and abroad on biodiversity conservation, water management, sustainable development, legal compliance, social corporate responsibilities, and environment management. Dr. Hishmi advises businesses on standardization and review of policies, norms, and implementations. Benchmark global best practices on corporate social responsibilities and enhance biodiversity conservation, environment, water performance, etc. So prior joining to Tata Steel, Dr. Hishmi has worked with the Indian Council of Forestry Research and Education, Ministry Environment and Forest Climate Change, Government of India, Amity University, and Rio Tinto. So Dr. Hishmi is having 2 books, several research papers, and more than 60 articles in his credit. So with these words, I would like to request Dr. Hishmi to please commence with your lecture. Over to you, sir. Please, you may share your slide and.
Thank you very much, first of all, for this lengthy introduction. So my introduction is simple. I am a geologist who got opportunity to train myself in the forest management, and further I got the fellowship to study in Netherlands for universalization of social securities, and I further got the fellowship to finish my MBA in e-governance. So this is fortunate that we are connected to the participant throughout India with the help of technology, and my work was around the failure of the technology and what could be the policy. And I'm thankful to the previous speaker. They have talked in length about climate change, and climate change is something that world has realized in early starting of this century, but still the awareness is less. But program like this, it is definitely helping to understand what is happening. So I am a practitioner as well as I am connected with the academics, and my one of the passion is to share the knowledge. What I know, I want to tell you that this is something happened. So this is something that the whole world is talking about, the climate change. So I think this is something you perhaps appreciate, as you most of are related with the teaching, and teaching is the highest respectable job globally. If we are talking, if we are teacher, definitely our forefathers has spent some of great thinking. They have invested so much on the good academics. They have spent the money on the teachers. That's why we are PhD, we are masters. So in this group, I think there are more than 86 people, and I hope, and I think that most of them are postgraduate and graduate. If these are the faculty members, so definitely they have done the PhD. So what they done in the past, it is a result that we are here, we are educated. So today I'm going to talk about this is something which is happening very seriously around the world. People are talking about the climate change. They are talking about what is happening, what is the loss happening, so much change in the rain pattern, monsoon is changing. So we have all read these things in the books. So we know that the reason is something which is not controlled and command properly by us. So we cannot blame all the things to the God. We are thankful to God that He has given us this knowledge. He has given us the opportunity that we are breathing after this pandemic. So we all must be fortunate to the God that we are healthy enough to attend this session. So I will start my session with the context setting. So try to understand that what we have done in the past, and the past is a key of the future. So if you want to make a future prediction, we need to see what has happened in the past. I will explain that everyone is talking about the climate change, and recently the IPCC report, the sixth report, has clearly indicated the climate change is uncontrolled phenomenon until and unless we are having a nature-based solutions. We are talking about the increase in temperature of the seas. We are talking about melting of the ice caps, but we are really thinking about what is the reason of all these things. It is not just the industrialization. It is basically the damage we have done to the Mother Earth. I will also explain about the ecosystem restoration. I will explain that why the Agenda 2030, you perhaps read about it, but again, I will integrate it and I will help the attendees to understand, as a professor, as a teacher, as an academician, as a student, you can implement these or some things in your day-to-day life. It is not essentially that at a corporate level, we should think about it. At a country level, we should blame the countries that countries are failed to achieve the Paris Accord. No, there are the something which individual me and you can do it. So how much time I'm having for my this talk? I think we are a bit late for starting. So how much time I am having for this talk? Can anyone respond on it? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So my two colleagues are also with me because I was thinking that I will start this session with some of the exercises, so that will bring some of the interaction. I think time is very limited. So I will just go to my slides, and if time will permit in the coming days, we will tell you about and we will talk about some quiz and some of the engagement activities. I hope it will okay with Mr. Thomas and other organizers. So what is happening that the nature is dangerously declining. It is something that we perhaps recorded, remember that what was the things happen in our childhood. These are not seen today. So the rate of extinction is accelerating, and whatever the world is doing, it is insufficient. So we need to do something very, very strong and transformative. We are talking about the climate change. We cannot control the climate change until and unless we do some of very strong transformative changes. So those who are of a student of biology or zoology, they perhaps read that how much biodiversity is around us. So we are having more than 8.5 million species around us, and 1 million species are about to extinct. So now you can understand if 10% of these species are about to extinct, what will be the impact on our life. So this is something, this is the research has been done in 2011. So this is a distribution. You can see in these two pictures, the 10,000 years before, 99% of the Mother Earth was covered by the wildlife animals, and only 1% was covered by the humans. And as on date today, 32% is covered by the human, me and you, 1% is covered by the wild animals, and 67% is covered by the livestock. Now you can understand when there is a so much variation in the habitats, so what will be the result? Definitely it will be very, very dangerous. The recent pandemics, although the pandemic happened after the 100 years, the past records say, but now the way we are encroaching, the way we are damaging to the Mother Earth, the next pandemic is not very far away. It could not be happen after 100 years. It could be happen in the next 20 years if we are not taking the corrective measures. So biodiversity is basically the living form on the earth. Biodiversity is something that it is a web of life. It is bringing oxygen for us. It is bringing water, food, and countless benefits. So these benefits basically we do not remember and we do not recollect. So we must be thankful to Almighty God, Bhagwan, that we are the human beings. So we are given an opportunity to understand and act for it. So humanity must solve this climatic crisis. So this is the bottom line of it. And program like this definitely help us. So quickly I explain about this picture. These are the drivers. So the first driver is the demography and the social structure. So our population is increasing. And how these are changing? The land use is changing, water is changing, resource exploitation is happening, the climate change is happening, the pollution because of our presence, and the invasive species. The second is the economic thing that for the economic activities, we are damaging to the Mother Earth, conflict of the epidemics. So it is another thing that which is happening around us. So because of these drivers, we have lost 47% of the ecosystem. We have lost 23% of biotic integrity, and we also 25% species has been lost, and 82% of the biomass has been damaged or consumed by us, and 72% nature contribution to people has been impacted, the indigenous people. So these are basically the drivers which are forcing us to take some of the strong actions. In this program, which government has planned for you, the faculty has planned for you to help you to understand. So I will take not more than, right now we are having 3:24. So I will finish my talk in the next 15 minutes because there will be next speaker who must be waiting to start. So I will finish my talk quickly. I have shared this slide with Mr. Thomas, so he could share with you, and I will be happy to give this session some next time also. So what is happening globally that 88,000 kilometers of forest we are losing. These forests are basically the lungs for us. So just consider if my lungs are not functioning, how long I can survive. So this is with the Mother Earth. If these lungs of Mother Earth, these forests are damaging every year, 88,000 kilometers, And you understand that these forests also help in reducing the temperature of the Mother Earth. This is the reason of climate change. In last 50 years, 60% of global population of wildlife has been reduced, 37% of bee population. So bee population is not just the bee population, it is basically the food security. If you understand that these help in pollinators, I need not to explain this to the teachers because they know better than anyone. They explain this to the children every time. And 90% of the flowering is dependent on the pollinators. These are the findings of the IPBES report. I was one of the lead author for this. And this report basically has indicated that 85% of our wetlands has been diminished in last 300 years. Now try to understand and correlate. And these wetlands are basically the kidney of the Mother Earth. And when these kidneys are not functioning, Mother Earth could not survive for a long time. People remember about the cyclones, but they did not understand that these cyclones are happening because we are damaging to the Mother Earth, because we are encroaching the land use, we are encroaching these wetlands. That is the reason that the water is not filtering, floods are happening. We remember the floods of Mumbai, we have remembered floods of Chennai. Now you need to remember about the droughts. So droughts are also now encroaching our personal lives. So this is a very peculiar and simple cartoon, and it is more than 10,000 words. That the COVID-19 problem is so small. Now you can see this is just a very, very small. The whole world has been shaken, destroy the economy. It is very small. The economic recession is bigger than the COVID-19. The climate change is bigger than what happened due to the economic recession, and the biodiversity collapse, which is the major reason for all of us to understand and act upon it. It is bigger than any other thing. So this is something that as an academician, as a practitioners, we need to think and spread this knowledge among the people, among the masses, that how we can contribute for the conservation. So these are some of very, very important things that if nature, this drought, and you can see the greenery, this picture is again the prosperity and the droughts. So if nature is losing, our economy is losing, our society and the well-beings are losing. And there are direct impact on the dependency on which we are dependent. And what is happening that because of the crisis, the natural crisis, the climate change is happening. So people now can appreciate and correlate. The Indian Meteorological Department done a lot of work, and their predictions and their research is appreciating to reduce the disaster. But we can do something that this disaster could not happen. And for that, we need to conserve the nature. And why this biodiversity is a low priority? Because people are having a less awareness about it. We want to exploit the biodiversity. If we do not have a sufficient amount of knowledge about the animals. For us, elephant is just an animal. It is not the story. Tiger is not just an animal. It is basically a flagship species. It is a species which help the other species to grow in the area. How it helps? There are several examples. You can search on the YouTube and read a story or see a story of Yellowstone knife, the story of introduction of the wolves. So when in Yellowstone, it is in America, a park is there, it was degraded, damaged because of the human activities and because of the cattle. So the Committee of Conservationists has introduced the wolves in that. When the wolves has been introduced, they have controlled and killed the cattle who were damaging to the flora. They were eating the flora, they were stopping the regeneration. But when these wolves came in the park, they have provided the protection to the flora. When the flora has been protected, it helped in attracting to the rain. When the rain came, the watershed has been again rejuvenated and the rivers are started flowing. So now you understand that we feel that this animal is killing the animals. No, it is not the case. If you know the ecology and ecosystem, every individual is important. That's why everyone believes in the diversity. If we are having a diverse nature and diversified ecosystem, then we will having the good resources. And this is the importance of the monoculture, that the monoculture and the monoeconomy cannot survive for a long time. That's why we need the multicultural, multi-species for the survival. Urbanization is another thing, that how the urbanization is impacting and uncontrolled industrialization. So these are the major reason of the climate change. This is the map of global biodiversity patterns. So biodiversity is unequally distributed around the world. You cannot talk something very important must be in Thar Desert. So you cannot correlate Western Ghat with the Thar Desert. You cannot correlate Gobi Desert with the Himalayas. Himalaya is a unique ecosystem. I did my PhD on Himalaya, so I know about it. I spent a lot of time in several ecosystems in Australia, in Canada, in America, in Europe. So when I have visited and I have seen that how varied this, every form of the life form, every form of society is different. India is very important because of biodiversity, because we are having 4 out of 34 global biodiversity hotspots. There is a rich biodiversity in terms of mammals, amphibians. I'm just rushing a little quickly because I want to conclude my session by 3:45. And I will request my colleagues are here, so they will also help and run some of the quiz. So you will enjoy hopefully this quiz also. So this picture is clearly indicating that what is the relation between the business and the biodiversity. Until and unless we connect the things in terms of a business, we are academicians. Again, it is a business model because we are getting the salary and we are teaching to the student. But beyond that, there is a system in place because the government of India or our government, our schools, principals want that we should deliver our education system in a way that the student must be productive, they must having a good employability, they must add value to the society, to the world. So these are the inputs and they are the outputs. So we are using raw material from the Mother Earth. We are wearing these clothes, mobiles, everything. It is coming from the Mother Earth. Electricity, gas, fuel, whatever is, it is coming from the nature. Only it is a form. So when manufacturing is happening, transporting is happening, maintenance, recovery, whatever is happening, it is impacting to the biodiversity. How it is impacting? The carbon dioxide is emitting, greenhouses are there. So greenhouse, everything, these are the climate change factors. And that is the reason that the biodiversity is impacting. What we got from the nature, the provisioning service, food we got, water we got, fiber we got, fuel we got. The supporting service, I explained the carbon cycle, water cycle. These are the 2 very important cycles. The soil cycle. So you cannot assume the good productivity if your soil is not fertile. So because of this damage to the biodiversity and cutting the forest, the soil fertility is also damaging. The floods are happening. Primary production, habitat provisioning. So all these things are the supporting services from the biodiversity. The regulating service is the climate change. Now it is something you correlate the previous lecture. The climate change is happening. The Arabian Sea is getting more heated than the Indian Ocean. Reason is very simple. Because in Indian Ocean, we are having good mangroves. That's why the temperature is less there. That's despite the amount of sunlight is same in the both seas, but because of mangroves, the temperature is less. In the Arabian Ocean, you know there are the desert region. They don't have mangroves, but now they are making a long-term plan. The Arabian country, the African country, to put some of the mangroves. So temperature can be controlled when we are erecting the forest. Nevertheless, last the spirituality, our mental health, fitness. We pray people in India. We pray other tree in other religion. The Bible has told about other tree. The Quran has told about other tree. So all the religions are talking about the importance of the tree, and it is the reason we should respect and regard how much important is in nature, education and the recreation. It is the ecosystem restoration. So as I explained, the biodiversity loss is happening. The United Nations has declared the next decade as the decade of the ecosystem restoration. United Nations think ahead of 20 years before. So that last decade, they declared the decade of biodiversity. They have identified that there is a loss of biodiversity happening. People like me who was part of the IPB assessment. So it was a consortium of 1,000 global scientists, and we have identified the findings which you have seen in 2019 and 18, the whole world talking in 2010. We have started doing some research in 2020. So the ecosystem restoration, if you are preventing, if you are planting, if you are doing something to stop this damage from exploitation to healing, that definitely help in recovering and restoring the ecosystem. The World Environment Day theme was ecosystem restoration. And that is the thing, that if we are restoring ecosystem around our colleges, around our colonies, around the societies, we definitely able to stop the collapse of biodiversity, counter the climate change, and improve the livelihood, because people will get the employment from it. You perhaps teach 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle. These 3 more R's, I request you to remember in your dictionary or include reimagine. Please reimagine. Please reimagine how was the Yamuna in the past, who are from Delhi. Please reimagine how was the Ganga in the past. Those who are from South India, please remember how was the river Godavari, Krishna was flowing. Those who are from Jharkhand, they can remember the Suvarnrekha. I am from delivering this talk from Jamshedpur. So we are having 2 rivers, Karkai and Suvarnrekha. The water flow has been reduced there. So we are spending a lot of money for reclaiming, recreating, restoring the water bodies. We know that we need to green our cities. We need to rewild our gardens. So these things are not required only the government could spend the money. As an individual, we can go to the nearby pond, nearby river, and we can clean it. So this is the Agenda 2030. I will not spend much time on this slide again. So these are the 17 SDGs. You can read more about it, go to the website of the United Nations. The important aspect of the SDG 17, these 17 SDGs, because these are integrated and they are helping to achieve the sustainable development goal. The climate action, the SDG 13, it cannot be achieved if we are not investing on the life on land and life flow water. It cannot be achieved if we are not talking about the good health. It cannot be achieved if we are not talking about the quality education, gender equality, clean water. So all these things are very important when we are talking about the climate action. So these goals, basically the United Nations made the Millennium Development Goal in 2005. There was a target, but they were not able to achieve because these were not integrated. These targets are a bit different because they are integrated with the business, with the people, individual. People like me and you can help. If we want to help someone in education, so your contribution to the quality education. My contribution is towards life on land, my contribution to climate action, my contribution to clean water, because I spent my last 20 years in research and doing the work in that, so I can contribute of my bit to help the society. So there is a relation between the SDG 14, 15 and these 5 SDGs, climate action, peace and justice. So the countries who are having a good forest, a good nature resource conservation, they are having a peace. So there is the integration, and these are very important for all of us. So biosphere, it is control and command by integration of 4 SDGs. Similarly, the society is again having 8 SDGs, and the economic growth is very important. We cannot deny that without economic growth, we can able to achieve, but there is a clear cut balance between the economic growth. There are some examples of eco restoration that is from one of mine site in Jharkhand. So you can see that how these mining site can be reclaimed when these, so you can see from right to left, this forest has been created. And again, this is aligned with the SDG 15. Some more examples, you can create water bodies, you can use rainwater harvesting. In every district, there are the committees, the government funds are available. Only we need experts to go there. We need to connect this with the academia, people like you, to help and bringing this change. Again, the botanical gardens, the medicinal plant gardens, and the butterfly gardens, these are very important. And these are the knowledge pieces which can increase and attract the kids so they can also help for the future. So Miyawaki is another very important buzzword nowadays. It is a nothing dense plantation. the cities where we are not having sufficient amount of land available, please use this Mewaki method. I will share my contact details. You can contact me and I will be happy to support personally each of the schools and college if you want to implement this initiative. So this is another example of our mine location. So these are my contact details. You can write down my contact detail. Before concluding my talk, I will take few questions. And in the meantime, I will request my colleague Rajita, please share the screen and tell the attendees about the game which we are playing with them. So thank you very much again for giving me the opportunity to talk to this Augustus attendees around India. And it is my passion to talk about nature, environment, biodiversity, and water, and climate change especially. So thank you very much again. You can note down my WhatsApp number as well as my email ID. I will be more than happy to give individual talks as well as help in implementing some of the projects.